You're listening to Biz-Souls, the business podcast with an edge, hosted by me, Rona Lewis, and Jeffrey Hansler. Tune in for perspectives and discoveries about the changing world of business. It's time to connect to the heart, soul, and humor of how business gets done. All right. Hi, kids, and welcome to Biz-Souls. I'm Rona Lewis.
I'm Jeffrey Hansler, and we get to the heart and soul of business and the people that make it happen. And we're doing another experiment. We just had Hamish Wright here,
and that won't be coming out for a while. So we're
I
not
know.
going to talk about it. So
we can't talk about it.
And that's so you already blew it.
What do you mean? Should I?
You blew it. Anyway, we're here to talk about an experience that I had recently. I'm buying a car, and it wasn't a great experience.
Well, what's our title for this? I think it's some businesses never learn. Some industries never learn.
I think it's
Is that
more.
it?
I think it's more of an industry thing. I think it's like the car buying industry is one of the few hard sell, push sales industries left. I mean, I don't really know of others. Do you?
Well, there are a ton of. Well, you've got your, what do you call it?
Yeah.
What do you call it? Multi-level marketing.
Oh,
which
that's
is,
true. Ugh.
You got multi-level marketing.
I am not a fan of multi-level.
Plus, I was in, you're down in, I was down in Crystal Cove, and I walked into an eye center down there, and I can't remember the name of the eye. They were very pleasant, very nice. They were definitely there to sell, and and they were constantly closing, doing stuff to get us. So there are other industries.
There are, yes. And I'm looking for a new used car. I want something fairly recent, and I want a Lexus. So I got a couple of prices, and then there was a really good one. Should I name the place?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Hyundai of Anaheim.
Hyundai of Anaheim.
Yeah, and it had a car that was normally for the year. I think it was a 2021.
Right.
I'm looking for an NX 300. I want an SUV for me and Roscoe. That's a decent size. And I was like, this is a nice car. It's upscale, et cetera, et cetera. And they had one for $25,000. I'm like, holy crap.
Right.
And I was like, what's... Yeah.
Yeah, your comparisons
Comparison
were
shop, yeah.
29,
Well,
30,
29,
30,000.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Somewhere
a little
around
less,
there.
but yeah.
Right.
And so I was like, what's wrong with the car? So I asked for the Carfax. Carfax comes back clean. I was like, hey, let's go down. So I was down here. We're doing other podcasts, and I was like, Jeffrey, you got to come with me. So he comes with me, and we drove it.
Like I got nothing better to do on a Saturday.
Because I
afternoon.
basically dragged him with the ear. Come with me. And because he's good in sales and asking and finance. Finance is not my wheelhouse, and you're really good at that. And bottom line is they kept adding stuff. Well, we put a bunch of extras on it, and you have to buy those too. I don't want those.
Yeah, and to the sales guy's point, they've worked with this. They've got a system.
Yeah.
So what they do is he comes in and we say it's 20. He said it was like 25 some and change, and then he goes, we have a package that has to go with it.
Yeah.
The package brought it up to like
20. Yeah, it was like another
$8,000.
Yeah.
Another $8,000 for the package.
Ridiculous.
And the package included things like Jeep on the car,
yeah.
which was they had priced it $2,000. $2,000.
Oh
So anyway,
God, it was ridiculous. They were just nickeling and diming. I was like, no, I don't need that. And they were like, well, we'll lose money. Well, too bad. It's obviously been on your lot for a while. And it was basically, would you call that a bait and switch?
So it technically it was not a bait and switch.
No, I guess not.
Technically, the way they did it. So in reality, though, it's a bait and switch.
It's a bait and switch.
It's a bait and switch. So they get you on the lot, and then the guy explains, "Hey, we got this package," and then we'll talk about it. They talk about flexibility. So we go in and talk to him, and we were very clear up front. So he hands us he goes, well, let me do a price sheet on stuff. Right. There is a bunch of other stuff. We're skipping that stuff and just hitting the high points.
Yeah. And it ended up like, I got the sheet with tax and title and all that. It was like $34,000.
$34,000.
It was ridiculous.
Right. And so we go, well, that's not what she's looking to pay. And we talked about the comparisons, and they know it. And I know this is what they're doing to try and get people to come in. And then they're trying to get them and convince them. And they're doing all the things, to try and make you feel good.
Right.
and they're getting you to spend time. And he goes, do you want a, what do you call it?
A martini.
Drive.
I don't know.
No. Do you want to test drive it?
Okay.
So he goes, do you want to test drive it? And we said, no, because don't need to test drive it until we talk about the money.
Right.
And you could tell he was a little upset out of that. The finance guy who we saw later,
He was pissed.
he was angry about that because they're trying to get you. They're trying to hook you in.
If you drive it, you'll love it. It's like, you know what? I've actually driven that model before. I know what it drives like.
So Rona was very clear to him, and she went through and she X'd out all the stuff. She said, I don't want anything in the package. Nothing out of the package.
Nope.
And then they had some other ads in, and they had her, what's your trade in? It's at X, and he offered a third of X.
Yeah, it was like, no, I'm not. It was like, I'd rather take it and bring it into CarMax because I'll get a lot more from that. So we did a whole bunch of back and forth, and you helped me with the finance, and you're like off the top of your head. Well, then it takes it down this and this, and he goes back and forth. So
no. This is even better. He goes and we were predicting this.
Can you tell we're mad?
No, we're not mad at all. This is funny. So the guy, and I understand the system, and unfortunately, it's the culture of the organization.
Yeah.
They expect people to do this. They train people to do this, and what they don't understand is, never before in the history of the United States have people had more mistrust for corporations, for government, and for products.
Right.
And this is something the businesses are being real slow to adopt this. Said, look, we're going to be totally transparent. We're not paying for this. We're not going to do this. Mm-hmm. We're not going to do this. So we went and said, here, 25. Here's a trade-in, and so with taxes and fees and the state fees, government's got to get their
all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
it comes out to like 28,
something like that.
28.
It was like 28.9. Remember?
No. That was their number.
Oh, that was their number. Okay.
So wait, two. There was 2 in taxes, so it'd be not 20. It was about 27.
Okay.
A little over 27. Okay. So then he goes, well, I have to go talk to somebody. And then Rona, he's walking away, and I turn to Rona and go, finance guy is coming.
Right. He nailed it.
So the finance guy came, and he talks about stuff.
And that used to happen with me when I sold Jack LaLanne Health Spas 100 years ago.
Right.
If you bring in, it's like the manager's like, okay, just come in on the third one, and then we'll hook them. So it's done. That's what's done.
So now what's happening, though, is the more time we're spending on it, and the manager came in and he was talking about stuff, and all of it in hindsight was a bit of a distraction. Mm-hmm. And that distraction took me away from watching the lines of what they were going to do, and they presented the agreement. And it came in at a little over
20. It was 28.9.
28.9.
It was just under.
No. It was 29.8.
No, it was
28.9.
Yeah,
28.9, and they presented. And what had done is they left the tax out, and what they had thrown in was
the GPS.
The GPS for $2,000.
For $2,000.
And so we didn't notice it, and then we took a test drive.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it. Yeah, I was getting half in and out. I thought we were okay. We talked about transparency and being straightforward, and we didn't want any of this stuff. And he agreed with us when the finance guy came back in. He agreed with us that we don't need any of that stuff. So then we get into the other finance guy when we're going to close the deal, and
he kept it in. He just had me sign.
He was going over it.
With the pen.
He had to go over it.
Yes.
He had to go over it, and he hands the pen in. Yes, he hands the pen in, and he says, "And you've got the GPS." Now he didn't. The other guy had stopped using the term GPS and package, and he'd used, "This is our add-in."
Yeah.
And so he'd switched the context of it. And then when you add the tax, now all of a sudden, it's a lot higher.
Yeah.
So at that point, we went, whoa, the numbers don't add. And he goes, well, we've got the GPS in here. And Rona took over at that point.
And it was like, I told you, I don't want the GPS. What don't you understand? Oh, well, we have to put something in. I mean, I got up and I walked out. And Jeffrey was playing the good guy, knows that never going to happen, and said, "Are you sure you don't want one of the others?" I'm like, and I had actually signed something at that point, and I got up and I ripped it up.
Yeah, and well, then the reason I said that is at that point, all three of them now meet us as we're walking out, and they said, "What can we do to save the deal?" And they're not getting it.
Yeah.
The way to save the deal
Is give me what I want.
no, the way to save the deal, yes, and I know Rona's still upset about this. The way to save the deal would have been to be honest up front.
Right.
Totally honest and not play word games, not try and distract you from what they're talking
Not try
about.
to sneak it in.
Not
That's what drove me
constantly
nuts.
switching things. It was like the peanut game, you know,
Yeah.
the pea game under
The
the
con game,
shells,
yeah.
where they do it. And it's like they move this stuff around, and
And you don't realize what you're signing.
yeah, and it's really sad. I really, you know, it's
Needless to say, I did not get the car. So if you're a Lexus dealer, I'm looking for something under 30 grand. 30 grand, I want the NX 2019 to 2020. Just saying.
Would you remember Taurus? Taurus came out when Taurus. Now, what was it? There was a car.
A Ford Taurus?
No, not Taurus. It was a car that they had no deal. You know, you don't have to fight because there was a time in the 90s or the early 2000s when
I was very young in those days. I don't know if I
this a dealership. It was no negotiation. You didn't have to fight with the salespeople. They didn't switch people.
Well,
You
isn't,
dealt
isn't
with
that
one
what
person.
CarMax did?
Well, and CarMax took that up.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, my experience at CarMax has always been good.
Yeah.
They're going to make money on a deal. I wouldn't say they're as good as Costco about trying to pass savings on to people.
Well, maybe that's my next trip will be CarMax
it's
to see what they have.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. You're not going back to Hyundai of Anaheim.
Ever.
And,
I don't care if they give me a car. I will not take it.
Here this business has done that. And now we're going to, you know, anybody you talk to, where should we get a car? Well, don't go here because they're playing that game.
Right. So, yeah, they lost more than one person. A, because I have a mouth on me. And B, because I have a mouth on me.
She has a mouth on
I have a mouth on me.
Have you gotten that picture yet?
Me? Yeah.
So what
yeah.
are some tips? What are some tips? Because this isn't just to take a shot at
Well, not totally.
Hyundai of Anaheim.
And it's, yeah. And I'm sure there are good people there. I mean, they're still in business. I just did not like the way that they did it. They just, you know, I'm a New Yorker. I'm very straightforward. Just tell me the bottom line. Don't just try to bullshit me. I'm saying it. Sorry.
And I'm
That'll get
thinking,
bleeped
you
out.
know, the car business is a tough business, and to make money, and a lot of times they don't make money. The trouble is I think they try and make a killing on somebody and they try to make a killing on somebody that's not savvy.
Yeah.
Or that doesn't make sense. And by doing that, they get into the mode of, well, and they begin to target those people, except those behaviors and habits, they do it with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it really drives a culture of that kind of, you know, a gray area. Would you say slimy?
Yes, it does not instill trust in the whole industry, unfortunately. You know?
Right. And this is the way the industry used to be. It used to be you'd go in and battle on this, and then you'd battle on finance, and then you'd battle on this, and they'd be changing the deal. They'd try and sneak something in because they're compensated on that. And I understand these guys, you have to make a living, and it's hard, and the dealerships.
And it's a car that's been on the lot for a while. Just get rid of it and get something else.
Yeah. Well, it had been on the lot for like 6 months or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And the inventory's not going. And here's the thing, though. What did they gain by it? If they do this on a customer, and let's say 1 out of 10 customers leave, or 2 out of 10 customers leave, and they have a bad reputation, look at all the advertising they're going to have to do.
Right.
Whereas if they left a good experience,
we would have had this conversation in a much better light, and this would have been a great sales piece for them.
you know, Chrysler.
But now it's not.
Chrysler had hired me to do a program for them, a sales program, and their sales program was awful. And they ended up not doing the program. I ended up not getting picked to be part of the program because I couldn't control, didn't want to control. I had to tell them their plan. It was based on the old school. This is how you harangue people to get them in, and this is how you. And it was supposedly an enlightened dealer program, and it wasn't enlightened at all. It was just they'd switch the name. They'd change the names, and they think they're going to get a different, any Rose, Rose by any other name is still the same thing. And, dog poop by any other name is dog poop. So I do think it's an industry problem, and I think it's a car problem. And I understand why Elon Musk didn't want to sell Teslas through dealers. He would have been caught into that. He would have been sucked into that. And I think dealing direct with people with a different attitude is
well,
good.
and this was actually a really good. Where am I looking? Oh, okay. There I am. It was a good lesson for me because now forewarned is forearmed. Forewarned is forearmed. Is that the expression? So now I can go in and say, look, I want to walk out paying $30,000 or less for a car. Don't add this. Don't do this. Don't give me crap. And, I think that will serve me well going forward.
Right. So we're experimenting all the time. And I'm so sorry, Rona's camera, I hadn't shut the coding on camera. So when you see Rona come up, here's Rona. See all the little...
The lines and stuff?
No, it says record up at the top and the green.
And
it
the menu,
shows the menu. It's because I forgot to
look
close
like
that.
a video game.
Too funny.
Okay.
All right. So tips. Let's close this. Let's put a fork in this.
For the
business.
For the business, just be straightforward. Use language that everyone gets and keep it simple, stupid, so that you will have repeat customers. When someone is happy, they're going to talk about it left and right, and you will end up with more business.
And the Costco model, Trader Joe model, you get the impression they're looking out for the customer. They do everything they can for the customer. And Costco is continuing to thrive.
Yeah.
And they're doing very, very well with that. And I think that's what people want. I think that's why, and their membership.
And wear Hawaiian shirts. Yeah, perfect. Sell cars in Hawaiian shirts. That's what I would do. That's a good way to do it.
All right, now tips for consumers.
Oh, just be prepared. Know what you want. Know what you're willing to pay for. And read everything carefully. I think too many people don't read. I mean, at the car dealership, they just threw like 27 papers at me. Read this, look at this, read this. Car buying should be easier. It doesn't have to have 9 million things to sign. Or it shouldn't. It's just too much.
Yeah, and we're going off the cuff on this, and it really was. I think we came home and had a glass of wine or something because it was like a wasted day. And so we probably,
just kidding.
If we're off on the numbers, any apology to the numbers, it was the concept of the thing.
Right. I mean, they actually did come in where I wanted them to for the car, and it was the principle of the thing. I couldn't, if someone pisses me off that much, I'm not going to do business with you no matter what.
Which is why our podcast is ending very soon, because I've absolutely said wrong.
He's got some new toys and programs on his computer, and it took him 40 minutes to figure it out.
Hey, I couldn't get the camera. I was changing.
I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Today.
All
I'm working tomorrow.
All right. She actually needs to make money.
I do.
All right.
Well, that's it. What do you got? Anything else?
This is it. We're gonna see what we do with this. We're not sure what to do with the live.
If any other tips for car buying, please let me know. Write it in the comments below. Email me, Rona at biz-souls.com. And subscribe, please. We need the numbers.
And one more good thing. Just one more thing on this thing is the people there were good. They're smart. They're good.
Oh, now he's trying to make up for it.
No, I'm not trying to make up for it. It's the culture. This is
he
how
was 12,
powerful
the guy
culture
who was
is.
selling.
It's how powerful the culture is. And if you have a culture that is not looking out for customers, and so it's the ownership of the organization.
It's not customer-centric. It's move the cars,
and they put pressure on them and stuff. And so, I'm always looking out for if you take care of your employees and take care of your customers, it's the basic thing.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
All right.
Okay.
That's it for us. We'll see you guys on the regularly scheduled podcast. Meanwhile, we're done here.
And you're Rona Lewis.
Oh, right, that. I'm Rona Lewis.
I'm Jeffrey Hansler.
And this has been Biz-Souls. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Biz-Souls podcast with your hosts, Rona Lewis and Jeffrey Hansler. Did you have fun? Subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. Talk to you next week.